My name is Talal Shabrawi. I'm the Vice Dean for Academic Affairs. I'm here on behalf of our Dean. And we're here to present our Faculty of the Information Engineering and Technology. Okay? Now, when we thought about the orientation, we thought about doing something different. So we have with us Wasim and Maggie. They were sitting in your seat maybe 12 years ago, thinking which faculty they should join. And they had a similar orientation. So maybe we thought maybe they can share with you their experience. And how did they go about with going into IIT? And after they finish IIT, they're actually staff members with us, one of the IIT family. Okay, so please. Okay, so they will start the orientation now. Thank you for your attention.
Welcome everyone to the orientation session for the Faculty of Information Engineering and Technology, IIT.
Looking back a few years ago, or not so few years ago, looking back some years ago, we were actually sitting in your places, listening or attending to one of these presentations, and really having a hard time deciding what we should be choosing. So today we're here, and we'll give you, or hopefully we'll give you a very good impression about IIT and help you decide if you want to join us.
So let's start with presenting ourselves. Okay, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Wasim, and we're both assistant professors in the faculty of IIT. And guess what?
We are both made in IIT. So
Yes.
both of us are graduates from IIT faculty in 2010. I graduated from the networks major. Wasim graduated from the communications major. 1 year later, both of us finished our master's degrees here at the GUC. In 2017, Wasim got his PhD degree also from here, and I got my PhD degree from the University of Stuttgart.
But we're not here today to talk about ourselves, but really, we're here today to tell you more about IIT, because we believe education is the key to success, and we'd really like to extend an invitation for you guys to be part of this, to join us in the faculty of IIT.
So let's start by telling you about these successful careers. Today we have the title for the presentation, IIT would be the successful choice, as you can see. So let's start by showing you some of our graduates and how they made very successful stories.
Yes, so successful careers, money, money, money. Let's see how could that actually translate into reality. I'm quite sure that most of you have seen these pictures all over campus. The GUC administration decided that some of the graduates have really made it big in the world, and they decided to call them the GUC stars. So I did a quick statistic by counting all of them. There's 15 of them all over campus. And guess what? We have Christine Safwat from IIT, Islam Khalaf from IIT, Rami Atawiya from IIT, Ahmad Abdul Halim, Dr. Tariq Zaki, many of them actually are PhDs, and Akram Amin, I'm quite sure of them. Now, it would be interesting that 6 of them, 6 out of the 15, which is about 40%, are graduates from IIT. Actually, since we're all here engineers or studying to be engineers, then it will make sense to just consider the ones from engineering. 8 of these guys are from engineering, and having 6 out of 8 from IIT, this gives the ratio even better, 75% of them. But you know what? At the end of the day, maybe these guys are the top 10 or 5% of the students. Not everyone is at that level. Many of us are actually average students. What do these guys do, Maggie?
Well, even our average students or the below average ones, they get excellent jobs at many of the companies that are national and international companies, even here in Egypt or worldwide. So we have, these are some of our graduates working at Dell EMC. You all know Dell, a big computer manufacturer. These are other ones, just a few of them, working at Orange, the famous mobile operator. More of them working in Vodafone, the biggest mobile operator in Egypt. More of them working in Valeo. Have you heard about Valeo? It's a company that manufactures self-driving cars and boards. Intel, you all know it from your laptops maybe, or your electronic devices, and Infineon, one of its subsidiary companies who manufactures actually all the computers, your tablets, maybe your phones, your electronic devices. These are some of our graduates working there, not just in Egypt, but also in Europe and in Americas. Some of them working in Nokia, in Cisco, one of the biggest network providers, in Siemens. You know it also from your devices. Mentor, one of its companies manufacturing the software for Siemens. So our IETians are basically having very good jobs, very successful ones, very bright careers all over the globe.
Really, Maggie? I
Yeah.
mean, you've showed us maybe like 8 or 9 companies. Would that really cover the globe?
So just to give you an overview where our graduates work at, these are just a sample of the companies that we have here in Egypt, or just like we said, in Europe, in Americas, in Australia, North America, South America. Many of them are companies that are based here, that they have branches here, or based worldwide. So these are just a sample for the companies that you will be working on, or you will be working at when you join us in the Faculty of IET.
But wait a second, maybe some of the students sitting here right now are not really considering working in the industry. Maybe some of them would actually be interested more in lifelong learning, in continuing on with research, and deciding to be, doing like us, working in academia. So
Yeah.
what does the Faculty of IET has to offer in that regard?
Okay, so just to get your attention, how many of you are actually thinking of, or how many of you are interested in the industry jobs?
No.
Most of you? How many of you are interested in pursuing maybe his postgraduate studies to do a master's degree or become a doctor, professor, scientist? Okay, so many of you.
Yes.
So, guys, let's have your attention back. Okay, so for those of you who are more,
Sorry.
yeah, guys, so for those of you who are interested to continue their studies abroad, we offer you an excellent opportunity when you join us in the Faculty of IET to do your postgraduate studies at any of these international institutions. So just for a statistic, almost 30% of the IET students do part of their studies abroad. Either your bachelor project, either your master's project, or your PhD, and you get your degree from abroad at any of these international institutions. Also, many of them are in Germany, like our partner universities, University of Ulm or University of Stuttgart, where we graduated from, or even universities in North America, like the University of Guelph, Toronto, or Harvard, where our colleague Islam Khalaf studies now.
I still remember the days when I were attending these lectures and Islam would be sitting right beside me.
Yes.
I had no idea that one day he'd be joining Harvard.
As a professor in Harvard. Yes.
Wow, yeah.
Okay, so, guys, let's just, guys, can we have your attention?
No, I know why we're losing them, because you're talking about jobs, about things maybe in just at least 4 years ago,
Yes.
4 years from now.
Maybe they need
Yeah, what about
something sooner.
internships, right? We're talking about something much closer, right? Are you familiar with the internship and employment fair? It was here on campus just last week, right? And what I found really fascinating about it is that recruiters were actually looking specifically for IET. You know why? Because the SCAD office, they released this nice statistic, and about 1/3 of companies specifically wanted IET students and graduates. I was really proud to know about that. I mean, I even went there. I enjoyed my time there knowing that at least 1/3 of the companies wanted to hire me, or a much younger version of me as a student. This was nice to know.
Yeah, so
definitely.
through also joining IET, you get the chance to get the perfect internships and also the perfect job opportunity.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so what do all these people in all that we have showed you so far are doing in their successful careers? So let's start by telling you about some of the interesting technologies that these people are working on. So
Wow.
what do you learn in IET? What topics that you learn about in IET? Many of them that Professor Slim has already explained to you. We teach you about machine learning. Do you know what machine learning is?
Who knows what machine learning is? Wow.
Okay,
Maybe you
so-
should join us.
Interesting, yes. So let me ask you a question to elaborate about machine learning. Did you notice recently that Facebook can automatically tag your photos? You don't need to do the tagging anymore. He automatically discovers who is in your photos, right? Did you notice that? Yeah? You don't use Facebook? Come on, guys. You're on Facebook all the time. Okay, and did you notice when you do some online shopping and you go buy a product, and then this platform where you bought this product from suggested more and more products that's similar to this one that you might be interested in? Well, all of these are some examples of image recognition and recommender systems, and these are all different examples for machine learning, which we learn or we teach you in IET. Another interesting thing is the Internet of Things. you all know the internet, right? Who can live a day without the internet, without using your phones, without WhatsApp, without your social media applications? None of you, right? We also teach you about all of this, how the internet works, how can you develop the internet, how can you make it faster, how can you develop many of these applications that you actually use each and every day. So our students, mainly in their 6th or 7th semesters, they can develop many of these social media applications, and they already have it posted on the App Store for everyone else to download. So we teach you about social media networks, we teach you about the Internet of Things, where we will be actually capable of having an internet, not just for people, but the internet will actually accommodate all the sensors, all the cameras, all the smart devices that we have nowadays. Another interesting thing is cloud computing. How many of you actually listen to songs on SoundCloud? Do you use SoundCloud?
And Remy, maybe?
Yeah?
No?
How many of you store their files on Google Drive or Dropbox? So, many of you are currently actually, when you're working, for example, on a project, you have all your data hosted in the cloud. It's not on your computer, it's not on your hard disk, it's either on Dropbox or it is at the Google Cloud servers. So this is what cloud computing is. It holds all your data and you can simply access it through the internet, which is also one form of networks that we teach you about in IIT.
As well as 5G mobile networks, for example. I remember back in the day when I could only make phone calls using my cell phone. This is no longer the case. Nowadays, I could stream YouTube videos, play online games, do a number of things using my cell phone. Things are just totally different than 5 or 10 years ago. And what we're doing here, what we're interested in teaching you, is how you can be part of this, how you can be part of the 5G, as one of our professors calls it, data tsunami, and how you can actually be a part of the people who are building the infrastructure for 5G cellular communications, not just in Egypt or in Germany, but all over the globe. This is big things that you can learn about while you join the specifically communications in the faculty of IIT. We have so many technologies here. I'm not quite sure we have the time for all of them. Let me just go to smart cars, because I really enjoyed the videos that Professor Slim just showed us. But 2050 is a bit far for me. I'm more of a realist. I'm more of a guy like, you know, tell me what I'm going to be working with in a couple of years. Maybe 5 years from now. This is when you're graduating. So smart cars. Self-driving cars and smart cars are basically divided into a number of categories. And they start off with rather simple things like what we already have today, you know, lane assist driving or cruise control or automated cruise control. This is already technology that's available in many, many cars nowadays. And they go through all these different phases. Now, at the end of what we have, full automation, where you could actually be sleeping in the car and you get from point A to point B safely. I think this is very interesting. But in order to do this, in order to reach this last phase, you do kind of need sensors, you need antenna arrays, you need a lot of technology to back up all this. Now, 80% of such technologies are things that you're going to be learning about in IET. Things that you need the hardware for, you need the electronics for, you need how to network between all these electronic components in order to have, at the end of the day, a self-driving car. One that can detect people passing or the other cars in your vicinity and so on. So, as I was just saying, we need sensors to communicate and to be able to form a network for this to be reality. It's not that easy, but we'll be teaching you about this. At the end of the day, you want to drive the smart car back to your home, which should also be
and also a smart home. So you could be driving back using your smart car, and then you park at your intelligent home, who automatically detects that you might be already in the region. So it can automatically switch on your coffee machine or heat your food, and then it opens the garage door for you so that when you come, you find the door already open. And all of this, it's not science fiction. It's all of it is coming to the market really soon. Okay, so one example of the intelligent homes are the smart TVs. Many of us have the smart TVs already now in our homes. It's already connected to the internet. It stores your preferences. You can use it to access the internet. Your house may be connected all the way through different cameras, and these cameras, when they detect maybe a face that they do not recognize it, or someone who's trying to break into your home, it will automatically call the police so it can come and protect you. It may have different cameras that can detect if someone falls in the house, they can call the ambulance. So we can have all different kinds of sensors and cameras gathering data, where the data is analyzed through the internet and through the cloud to help your home become as smart as it can be. And just like Wasim said, how can we build this? We teach you how to do this in IIT. All these examples, they need sensors, mainly, hardware devices, that we teach you how to build them actually in our electronics major. They need to communicate, so they have some communication modules that these devices need in order to communicate, and they need networks, just like the internet or your local area networks, so that all these devices can communicate together. Now, speaking about majors, it's time to tell you about what majors we have in IET.
Yes, I guess so. So basically, these are the different majors that we have in IET: communications, networks, and electronics. And guess what? They're all equally cool. In communications, you have basically 4 different tracks. They start off with the radio frequency, waves, and so on. Then you move on to digital signal processing, digital communications, and finally the ability to build full-on communication systems.
And moving to networks, which is my major. In networks, we teach you about internetworking. What are different forms where you can connect your devices together? So for example, in the lab here, we have a network connecting all devices. In your home, you have a network connecting your mobile and your laptop to your router. We have the one big network, like the internet, connecting the whole world together. So you get to know about different types of networks, when and where to implement them. You get to learn about the network protocols, which actually computers that we build in electronics use in order to communicate across the networks. You get to learn also about the performance, how to make your network perform faster, more safer, in a better way, and in a more manageable way. And finally, you get to learn how to do some applications. So you know how to program using different programming languages, and you get to deploy your own applications, design your network protocols, and have it up and running when you're just in your 6th or 7th semester.
For electronics, we start off from the nanoscale, moving up to transistors. As you build on transistors, you can then take them up to the next level, building chips. A number of chips allows you to build a board. This is what sort of electronics you can have in your TVs, in your PlayStations, in your Xboxes. There you can actually think it would be cool to study electronics because you'll be able to build such things. Finally, you move on to the system level, as well as actually a couple of tracks that are not mentioned here. Renewable energies, photovoltaic cells, and some... Oh, we also do a bit of programming here because this does not happen. A lot, not a bit? Okay, we program a lot of that stuff. This is Professor Frank Gunzer, our head of electronics department. And yeah, shout out to Professor. As well as, of course, power electronics, Professor Yasser's domain. And then what do we have yet?
Okay.
Enough with the theory, Maggie. Let's show them the labs and the workshops.
Some fun. So, in all of these majors, you learn about all the theory behind it, and most importantly, you get to practice these 3 concepts. So you practice them through our IET labs, and most of them are done in cooperation with the industry. So we have various industry cooperations with Cisco. You have all heard about Cisco and the CCNA courses. We teach you about it in the networks department, and by the time you graduate, you have already finished these courses. We also have a collaboration with Dell EMC, one of the biggest providers in terms of cloud and big data and all these new technologies. We teach you all these courses as electives in your final year. We cooperate with Vodafone, big mobile operator in Egypt.
We recently actually got a base station as a gift from Vodafone.
Yes, so actually...
the students can work on here on campus.
Yeah, so our communications students, the ones who are joining communications or doing research in the field of mobile networks, can actually practice this in the labs while during their courses. And more collaborations with Juniper, also one of the biggest network providers. They also do offer many courses that we integrate in our curriculum. Also Red Hat, Linux. How many of you are Linux users?
Yeah, that's a good question. Oh,
Very few.
Well, if you're interested in that, we'll be
Okay.
teaching you that in IET.
But you already know that when you go to the job market, that many of the companies are already operating in Linux and not in Windows. And that's why we encourage our students through one of the courses to actually have good knowledge about Linux and how to be a system administrator in Linux, so that by the time you graduate, you are already ready for the job market. And one last collaboration with Mentor Graphics, one of the leading companies in the field of electronics. We also collaborate with it for offering different internships and supervision of your bachelor and master projects. Okay.
Oh, but it actually doesn't end here. We've got the fun part of IET also, where we also push you to go for summer courses, attend workshops, and get a bit of this German culture. Do experience our Berlin campus firsthand yourself. This coming summer, we have a couple of them: the aircraft navigation by Professor Allem, the head of communications department, as well as one by you, right?
And there's also, yes, coming this summer in July, yes, and August, one more course. It's an elective course on cloud computing and infrastructures, where you can learn about all this topic, and at the same time you get to see different institutions in Germany, different companies, so you get exposed more to the German cultures through these short courses in the summer.
This whole combination of getting the theory, going through all the courses, attending your exams, participating in projects, going through the labs, having a first-hand on experience with the electronics and the things you can deal with and build in IET, and even participating in the summer courses and workshops, you know what this actually gives you? At the end, it gives you really good competitive edge that you can really take on and participate. Not just participate, but actually win. Yeah, international, right. You skipped? Okay, I do it here. Yeah, you can actually participate and win big money in international contests. Our students, and I'm saying it again, our students, not just graduates, but our students participate in IEEE organized contests, and I can see all these pictures having checks.
Big checks,
Yeah,
with big money.
big checks, big fat checks with sums of money, right? And you can join these, you can form teams, and you can, develop products that are good for actual use. Actually, I just remember one very good example where one of the students made a blanket that has antennas, whereby these antennas are not used for communication. You know what they're used for? They're used for harvesting energy. We're using our cell phones all day long, making phone calls, chatting on WhatsApp, watching YouTube videos, and all these waves and signal through the air can actually be harvested and used to warm a blanket. It gets here in winter time, very cold in Tajamma, and the student actually made that. That was a very useful thing.
Okay, so we've come to an end.
Yeah.
Finally, to wrap up our presentation, to help you make your decision, we just want you to remember that an engineer who actually builds technology and learns about all the theory and basics and can actually build this technology would be an irreplaceable one.
An engineer who simply uses technology, however, is replaceable. From today, from April of 2019, where both of us, and I'm sure the rest of our faculty, would actually early on congratulate you, class of IET 2023, and we're looking forward for that day. Thank you for attending and
Thank
being
you,
here.
guys.